Why? Because I gotta.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Shaun,
And Verona. And
and this is doing. Oh,
You said it wrong. Anyway, no one's even watching, so that's fine.
well, that's okay. They'll watch later. We're doing what?
Kidnarok
Kidnarok
reviews.
reviews. And so Chris and I decided to do a little branch out from Dad and Rock and get our kids involved and show them some of the movies that we grew up with. I know Chris and Zachy already watched The Mask. You watched The Mask with Mama, didn't you?
I did, but we never got a chance to review it because
I
they did
know.
it first.
Yeah, quick thing. How did you feel about The Mask?
The Mask, it was the same thing as Zachy. It was very funny.
Yeah, it was really funny. Well, last night, Verona and I watched the 1985 classic Back to the Future, starring Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd. And I think you enjoyed it, didn't you?
I loved it. It was very funny as well, and it was like very good. I loved the actors because they were just really good. So yeah.
Yeah, I liked it too. It's one of my favorites growing up. There's actually 3. There's Back to the Future Part 1, 2, and 3. And you and I are going to watch.
Are those your top 3, or do you?
It's definitely one of the best trilogies. When a movie comes in 3 parts, they call it a trilogy. So back in the day, there was the Star Wars trilogy and Indiana Jones trilogy. But since then, they've made more Star Wars and Indiana Jones movies. So
we're not even talking about that.
I know we're not. We're talking about one of the only trilogies left, which is Back to the Future, because they never made a 4th one. But what'd you think about just like the story about like going back in time using that car, the DeLorean?
I thought it was a really good idea, and maybe we could actually use that to travel back in time or to the future one day.
Yeah, wouldn't that be neat?
It would be.
What's it? Oh, so like it took place back in 1985, which what were some differences between the time we live in now and 1985 and then 1955 where he goes back to?
Okay, so in 1985, I feel like there was a lot of skaters.
Some skateboarding?
A lot!
Yeah.
And so I love how we only have one person watching, and I feel like it's Mama.
Probably. That's okay. They'll watch later.
Yeah. So.
And then how about the phones? There were no cell phones.
There were not, because he had to call Doc on
the payphone.
Yeah. And when they went back in time, their phone looked way different.
Oh, yeah. Like way, way different.
And like black people were still like not.
Oh, in the 50s? Yeah, 1955 there was the mayor of 1985 was a black guy named Goldie Wilson in the movie in 1985. And when Marty goes all the way back to 1955, 30 years before that, Goldie Wilson was just cleaning up in the diner, wasn't he? He wasn't even like in politics or anything yet. And Marty was the one. He was like, "I recognize you. You're going to be mayor." And then he was like, "Mayor, that's a good idea." And then he ends up running for mayor and becoming mayor. Marty affects a lot of things when he goes back, doesn't he?
Yeah, but my favorite part is how the funniest part, actually the second funniest part, is when he was like doing the 80s like moves for like playing the electric guitar back in the 50s. And so everyone was so confused just looking at him like, what the heck are you doing?
Yeah, he was playing at the Enchantment Under the Sea dance. And first he was just playing good, Johnny Be Good, playing those old school 50s songs. And then he really got into it because in the 1980s, people played guitar like crazy. They were playing crazy.
Hey, we got 2 more views.
Hey, all right, welcome. This is Dad. Oops, not Dad and Rock. Kidnarok reviews.
You forgot the name.
I know. I got to get used to saying Kidnarok. What'd you think about Doc Brown, and the actor and that character?
So I think the actor was like very good and very funny, but the character, my favorite line from him.
Yeah.
When I fell off the toilet, I drew this.
That's right. And he showed a drawing of the flux capacitor.
Yeah.
Which Marty showed him in the car, and it was like, "Look, it's real. You actually made it." That was great. That was funny, though. He was like, "When I fell off the toilet, I drew this." That was funny that was your favorite line from the whole movie. Oh, what about the actor that played Marty and the character Marty McFly? Do you think he was like too 80s? Was he like too cool for school? Like,
I feel like he was like one of the best actors I've actually ever seen
oh yeah,
on TV because like he had the good groove for an actor and it was like so smooth and he never laughed at like one of his lines.
yeah, that's true.
We got another view.
Hey, 4 people joining us. Hey, we're talking Back to the Future, Part 1. If you like discussions where kids are watching classic movies from the 80s and 90s for the very first time, subscribe to our channel. We're almost at 500 subscribers on our channel, and we can't wait to hit that mark. And you'll get more of me and Chris and our kids talking about these classic movies. You and I are definitely going to watch Part 2 and Part 3 of Back to the Future, right?
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah. I remember last night when when finally after the whole movie they sent Marty back, and then the next morning like his life is like perfect, like his mom and dad are like confident, happy people, and like he goes outside and he's got the truck that he was wanting, and Doc pulls up and he's like all in those futuristic clothes. He's like, "We got to go back to the future and your kids," and you were like, "All right, let's watch the movie right now."
Well, one of the problems they have, so you didn't really ask this, but I have something I need to say.
Okay, you say
When
it.
they made the second movie, they went in 2015, right?
Yeah, which we haven't watched yet, but yes.
And then they had to go back, right?
Right.
So it shouldn't be back to the future, it should be back to the past.
That's true. Yeah, they didn't name it that though. Maybe they
And
should
by
have.
the way, we don't have flying cars yet, and it's been 10 more years.
I know. So in the
I'm-
second movie, they're going to go to 2015,
I'm
and
mad about that.
you were only a year old in 2015,
I was only a year old.
and
So
we still in 2024 do not have flying cars. What a jip, man! I want flying cars. Do you think that would be safe though? I think people would crash those cars all the time.
You know, if only one person could use it, definitely not. But like if they were kicking butt and they were selling like hotcakes, then yeah, it would definitely have so many problems.
Yeah.
Like how self-driving cars are doing right now.
Oh yeah, it's true. Maybe that self-driving car is the first step to getting flying cars. So that way we won't have to worry about crashing them because the computer will be driving them.
Yeah.
Good thinking. Let's see. He goes back in time, and what'd you think about the part of the movie where Doc gets killed in the first part? He gets gunned down by those terrorists, right? And the whole movie, Marty goes back in time, and he's thinking about how he left, and he doesn't want Doc to die, so he writes him that letter. Were you surprised when the Doc actually listened and read that letter?
Yes, because he ended up ripping it.
Yeah, he ripped it back in 1955.
And here's the other thing. I knew he had some sort of bulletproof thing as soon as he got shot because there was no blood whatsoever.
Ah, you picked that out, didn't you? You were like, "Where's the blood?" You were way ahead of that movie. Yeah. Some of my favorite stuff. So when I was a kid, 1985, I was only a year old when 1985 happened. So it's not like
And
I
I
watched
was a year old in 2015.
2015. Isn't that weird? But I didn't watch these kids or
Hey,
watch
someone
these.
left. Someone left.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
That's
Maybe we'll be
fine,
back
but, like-
later. I used to, when I was a kid, I used to have little movie marathons, and sometimes I would watch the movies back to back to back. And this was definitely one of my favorites to visit and revisit. And just thinking about like the time and how like he goes back. You're gonna love the next one because I give you a little teaser. Marty ends up going back to 1955 and seeing himself and the events of this first movie. It gets crazy. Like he's in the background the whole time. A different
I
Back to the
can't
Future 2
tell
Marty.
if that's the person from before that just joined or a new person.
Probably a new person.
Okay, well, if you're a new person, welcome. We're doing Kidnarok reviews, and we're talking about the very first movie of Back to the Future.
Yeah, yeah. What'd you think of any other things in the Back to the Future that stand out to you? Any other things you liked or didn't like?
Okay, so one thing that I was confused about
Mm-hmm.
was when he went back in time. because like he went into a random person's yard.
Yeah.
Like, how did he get there? Because one, Doc said it was a totally plain spot.
Mm-hmm.
So he would have went where he was standing. So that confused me a lot. I don't know what other people think about that, but like, yeah.
Well, when Doc in 1985, when they were first talking and they were in the parking lot of the mall, Doc told Marty that that mall didn't even exist back then. It used to be a farm where this farmer was trying to breed pine trees. So it was a lot of just land and like farmland and like rural and like nothing out there.
Okay, but they never talked about a shed. He landed in like
That's
this
true.
huge shed.
He did. He ended up going back in time and he was right on the farmer's property and crashed right into the shed. So that's the kind of stuff you got to think about when you deal with these time travel movies. Like, even though, like, even like the house that we're in, if we went back in time to like 1995, there'd be nothing here. We'd be sitting in grass right now because it's just weird how time works, isn't it?
I just heard our cat run right past me and it scared me.
I know he's down here. He likes to do that. Our cat Maxie. We love Max, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a good kitty. You know what I thought was weird? How when Marty went back in time and his dad was like spying on his mom, like young version of his dad was spying on the young version of his mom. And I was like, George McFly, don't be a creepo.
He was being a creepo.
He was being a little creepo. And then and then because he saved him, then Lorraine, his mom, her dad hits him with the car. And she starts to have feelings for Marty, which she doesn't even know is her own son from the future.
Yeah, because they ended up kissing.
Yeah.
And so when I saw that, I was like, ew. But then she said, something doesn't feel like. You feel like a family member when I kiss you. And I was like, yes.
Yeah, Marty was like, nope, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, poor Marty. Poor Marty was going through that. She didn't know, and he was just trying to like get them back together. He was trying to get George and Lorraine, his parents, back together the whole movie, and it just was not happening until the very end. Okay. Oh, because of Biff. We haven't even talked about Biff, the bully.
Oh, no, not at all. Okay. My thoughts on Biff.
Yeah.
He is a bully, but at the same time, he's very easy to insult.
That's true.
He's like one of those bullies that don't know anything.
Yeah, he's kind of dumb.
He is dumb. He's
right. A big dumb bully. And guess what? He's going to be in the other movies too.
Oh, come on. We haven't had enough of him?
I know. He's kind of the Back to the Future like main enemy, like the main bad guy in the whole thing.
Oh, well, that's true. But like,
we'll see more of Biff. I do like the actor that plays Biff. Like, he played a good bully.
Oh my God, yes. That is so true.
Yeah, he's like, think, McFly, think. I told you to get out of here. He was just being bad.
One part where I got annoyed in the movie is where Marty's mom literally called his dad cute, but then was like, yeah, but I need a stronger man.
Right. Well, that's what happened. Like, she saw Marty being just, how he is, and like he stands up for people and he doesn't take crud from bullies being bullies, and like nobody calls him chicken and stuff. Like, Marty has a lot more confidence than George does. Which is weird. Like, I wonder how Marty got all that confidence in the first place, since his dad is kind of such a nerdy, not confident guy.
Maybe it's from like his like grandparents or something. We've never actually heard about grandparents, so it could be that.
Yeah.
And George had ended up kicking Biff's butt.
He did. He punched him right in the face, didn't he? Well, Biff was being like real nasty towards Lorraine, and that just made George angry enough to break out of his shell, and he was just so mad he had to do something about it. So he punched Biff right in the face. And I remember when that happened, you were like, yeah.
Yeah. So look, this is what happened. He grabbed his arm and he was like breaking it, like,
yeah, he was going to break George's arm, wasn't he?
So, and then when Lorraine / Marty's mom came out of the car, he like pushed her down, and that's what made him like really angry, because he really liked her. And so he got a power boost and he went, hi-ya, he dead, boy.
He went Super Saiyan, didn't he? Knocked Biff clean out. And right from then, Lorraine was like, "Oh my gosh, this George McFly guy, he actually can protect me. He is a strong guy." And she was over Marty at that point. Once because it's like Marty was like felt like kissing her brother, and then
Yeah.
she saw George being like totally cool. And then they both went into the dance, and everybody was like, "Hey, George McFly." So Marty ended up changing the story of how his parents met and changing like how they live their life in the future. Like when he goes back to 1985, they're all like successful.
So here's the whole plot of the story.
Yeah.
So his mom. I said her because I'm thinking of the mom.
Of Lorraine,
So
yeah.
Lorraine, she tells almost every night. So she saved George because he got run over
Yeah.
by her dad's car and all that. But when they went to the past,
Marty.
I know it was. I was thinking of Morty. I was like, that's not right.
Morty. Like Rick and Morty.
Yeah,
A lot of people say that Rick and Morty is pretty close to Doc and Marty, like how they are.
Marty had saved him in the past,
Mm-hmm.
and so it changed into a whole different thing. So like he got run over, he was saved by like her, and so she fell in love with him. Blah 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 blah. So he changed like a whole story, and now she has a better story to tell.
Yeah, they do. Like the story of how they got together is a lot better now that Marty went back in time and changed it.
So it's not just they had their first kiss.
Right, exactly.
At a dance or something.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of anything else. Let's see. The picture, how his brother and sister disappear for the picture, and it looked like he was about to disappear when he was playing guitar.
He was about to disappear, but
Yeah.
So when he was disappearing,
Mhm.
sorry, I gotta eat. I'm hungry.
Okay, eat some Chex Mix.
Okay. So he almost disappeared because someone took Lorraine and stepped her aside.
Yeah.
But then he was like, "Excuse me."
Oh, George was, yeah.
Excuse me.
Excuse me.
Goodbye.
That's right, he did, didn't he?
And like right in time before he disappeared. So here's the thing. Marty was disappearing very fast compared to his other siblings.
Mm-hmm.
And that confused me.
Oh, it's just how
like,
long
his
it
brother-
took for, yeah.
Because his brother, his head just went, like barely disappeared when they
Right.
first saw the picture.
It's just the
And then,
top
like-
of it, and then his whole head, and then like more of him was gone, and then the sister. Basically, yeah, it took them like almost the whole week Marty was back in time to disappear. And then it's a good thing Marty didn't start disappearing earlier. We wouldn't have a movie, would we?
No.
It's-
But wait.
Okay, I'm waiting.
When he first went back to like his when he first went back to his
1955.
Yeah, 1955. No, 1985. Did you
Oh,
say?
at the end of the movie when he goes back to
Yeah.
1985.
So we never talked about this. Biff is now a car washer
Yeah, he is.
or a car polisher.
So in the beginning of the movie, Biff is still like bullying grown-up George McFly, grown-up Biff, and grown-up George McFly. He's getting bullied. He's like, "Do my work thing for me." And Biff crashes their car, so Marty can't go on a date with his girlfriend Jennifer. And then at the end of the movie, Biff is like, like washing and waxing George's car. It's like total role reversal because of all that stuff that happened in the movie. It was crazy. I can't wait for you to see the next two movies though, because they take the story and it's really good. Actually, let me tell you something. Back to the Future 2 might be my favorite of all three of them. I'll just say.
Well, currently,
Yeah.
as soon as the movie ended, I never told you this, but
What?
Back to the Future is my new favorite movie.
All right. Yay. Big success. I think that's a big success.
I loved that movie so much.
Yeah.
It was like beyond acting.
Yeah.
So.
I love the actors. I love all the music that's in the movie. Had really fun, like good music, like the Back to the Future theme. And like the DeLorean is just cool. I got the poster in here. I need to get more Back to the Future stuff in the basement. You think? Should I get a DeLorean for down here?
No.
No, there's too much stuff as is.
So, do you want to like stop here?
Yeah, I think we're good. So join us. Verona and I are going to be checking out Back to the Future Part 2. I don't know if it's going to be this week or next week, but we will be back to talk more Back to the Future. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, subscribe to Kidnarok. We're almost at 500 subscribers. Me and Chris want to get there so bad. Go ahead.
One thing I want to say.
Yeah.
Before we go.
What?
When I fell off the toilet, I drew a picture that said, "It's time to end the stream."
Good job. Well, Verona, great first Kidnarok reviews. I can't wait to watch more movies with you. I'm so glad Back to the Future is your new favorite movie. And until next time, y'all, we will see you later.
It's party time! P-A-R-T. Why? Because I gotta!